So, there was an attack upon, well, it looked more like there were two young ladies being accosted, being harassed, harangued by reportedly some migrants. I think they're Scottish. I think they have a Scottish accent. But it has happened somewhere in the United Kingdom. I don't actually entirely care where. Because the principle remains the same. These two young ladies, I believe they were 14 and 12, were being harassed, followed by, I guess, some migrant. Again, is how it's being reported. He records their altercation, and the young lady pulls out Concho and Bacchio. No, I'm kidding. See if someone gets that reference. So she pulls out a knife, and she pulls out a small hatchet, and she brandishes them in an attempt to get them to leave her alone. I found the clip on Twitter. I think Brian Martinez, one of the Honey Badgers, reposted it. And just based on me just saying that, you should know where this video is about to go. So let's play the clip to the just as much as I've seen right here.
No, you don't dare!
Yes, you have a knife.
You don't! Hey, I'm fucking 12 feet! You're fucking bad and
Why are you fucking with us?
These are fucking kid bashers!
Show the knife. Show the knife.
Get
Show
the
the knife.
fuck away from her!
Show the knife. Show the knife.
Don't touch her!
That's
Don't
it.
touch
That's
me.
it. Show the knife.
Don't touch my little sister!
Show the knife. That's it.
Don't fucking touch my little sister! She ain't fucking 12! We're dropping her! Wait until I fucking catch you! She is fucking 12 and you just battered me, mate! Wait until I fucking catch me!
Yeah, show the knife. Maracha.
And now we're all caught up. Now, there are two reactions to this that I find also very fascinating. There's the reaction of a post like this. If I can remember, it actually might just be AI art. But it's these two girls proclaiming that there are no men around to protect them, and so they must defend themselves. And I find this quite humorous to me. The idea that Britain or the UK, which I think they're Scottish anyway, I don't know, no longer have strong men to defend these ladies. And it annoys me greatly for numerous different reasons. Not because I particularly care about the degree of an American giving a damn about the level of masculinity in the UK. It's not, don't get me wrong, I am a proponent for humanity and care about the great creation God made. Humans, sure, but as far as that is concerned, that's not really what bothers me. What bothers me is the idea that one would operate in such stupidity as to not understand that even if the nation anywhere did have strong men, they're not omnipresent. So even if the UK had strong men, these niggas never go to work? Are you to tell me that these strong men would follow these little girls around everywhere they went? That sounded really bad after I said it. But you understand the point I'm making, right? Like, that sounded really bad. But my point is that there's this implication that if the nation, any nation really, had men who are strong and willing to engage, then these young ladies would never find themselves in a position where they would need to defend or protect themselves. And I think that has to be the most nonsensical thing. I don't even understand how a nigga thinks like that, how a person thinks like that without understanding combat, I think. I think you just have to not understand that life sucks and there are bad people. And they want to hurt you sometimes. Now, I'm not even going to go to the full extent. I don't even know. Well, we can assume that these migrants, I guess, wanted to be PDF files, and we can assume that their intentions was to, battle these ladies in a shadow game. I'll put it like that. which is how other people are assuming. So, assuming that these ladies have to engage in a shadow game, right? I just find it strange that people think that they're just supposed to have the dark magician on deck to summon at any given point in time, right? Like, they're just supposed to be Seto Kaiba, like, I summon the blue eyes white nigga. Like, well, the blue eyes white guardian. I don't know. They would have to have Obelisk the Tormentor just waiting to attack these males. Are they supposed to have a stand? You know what I'm saying? Stop Platinum! Zavalo! Like, they just, like, what do you mean that this is an example of men? First of all, it's just one incident, but who cares? That's not even important. Let's just extrapolate it. Why are we going to act like ladies shouldn't be able to exist in a space, just be able to walk down the street, but then also not be accosted by the bad things in the world? Why would we think that that would be possible, number one? But number two, why do we think that this is indicative of a lack of men's willingness to protect women? Niggas, they weren't there. They weren't there. Men weren't, the Scottish, European, they weren't present. Like, as far as I know, now there might be an extended clip where the two ladies walked past a man and he was like, oh, what a great little day this turned out to be. Well, I'm not going to get involved. Like, maybe that happened. But as far as I can tell, there's no one around to protect these ladies. So the question is, what are they supposed to do? Like, seriously, like, I see this commentary and I'm just sitting there like, what are these? Are they really, you really want them to just have just a stand, just Zawado, just waiting for them? Is that you really, like, what do you expect men to do? For what, like, you expect them to just be around women all the time? What is this, Digimon? Don't worry, Muriel, I got you. Agumon, work Digivolve too. What are you talking about? What? It's not possible. It's not functional. It's not feasible. At some point in time, as a young lady, you do have to protect yourself. And that doesn't even necessarily mean you have to protect yourself in such a regard, right, as to which you brandish weapons. But, like, in this particular circumstance, right, like, they're not really doing anything, as far as I know, that would, like, warrant a location or a wariness of their location. Again, as far as I know. But location is a part of protecting yourself. You know, and of course, carrying weapons is a part of protecting yourself, right? Now, I believe the young lady is being charged to some degree. I don't know the full charge of this, for brandishing a weapon. You have to also understand legally what you're allowed to do. And to be quite honest with you, even in Florida, you cannot brandish a firearm without intent to without just cause to use it. You can't. That's illegal. If I say I have a gun and I show it to you, that's brandishing. Excuse me, that's illegal. You can't do that. Shoot, you can't even use firearms to defend property. If someone's stealing your stuff, you have to run the ones with them. You can't pull out a gun and shoot them. Too bad, so sad. And you have to be aware of this, right? Because after such situation occurs, you might, again, be put up on charges. And, you know, grand jury might decide you need to be tried. Or they might say it's justified. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And, you know, that could happen. But you have to be cognizant of this stuff. And I don't understand why women would be absolved of this after the feminist zeitgeist. Too bad, so sad. Like, I don't understand. Like I see, it's mostly men. I haven't really seen too many women. I've seen a lot of men over here wanting to, like, talk about the lack of masculinity in these Europeans, and, you know, talking about how these girls shouldn't be able to walk around like this means anything to them. Like these girls here are like, oh man, I really wish a man was around for me, like using them as a political set piece. Like what do you think's gonna happen to these young ladies? You think that after this happens, they're gonna grow an appreciation for men in their lives? They're gonna be all like, Digi-modify! Appreciation for men, activate! Like, nah. No, that's not what's gonna happen. It's like people keep using all these different things for all these different political reasons to be upset about somebody. But here's the long and short, fam. There's no Pikachu. There's no Agumon. There's no Star Platinum. Okay? There's no Guardian. There's no Obelisk the Tormentor that follows you around and protects you. You have to protect yourself. That's just the long and short. And men not being present in the exact moment when the bad thing happened is not a reflection of all of the men in a civilization. And it's just so goofy to me that that's the take that some of these people are having on Twitter. You know, it's nonsensical. You have to learn how to defend yourself, right? This goes for young men and goes for young women, really. Like, there's no good reason why you shouldn't learn how to use or learn hand-to-hand combat. Even if you have a gun. I see people say this stupid shit all the time. It's like, oh, just shoot them. Oh, so you'll just murder someone, and then you'll just hope that it was justified after you exist in a court case. Okay, all right. I mean, you know, go off, King. Since you just want to go slay someone who slighted you in some way, there's numerous different ways of which you can avoid confrontation. Sometimes you have to have a willingness to engage in combat. Fair enough, but the idea that you walk around, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that young lady, and that's a bit much. But does that mean that she shouldn't have had any weapons? I don't think so. I just find the hatchet a little odd. But I mean, there might have been a contextual reason why she had the hatchet. There might have been a good reason why she had the knife too. I mean, to be fair, I'm going to be fair to her. I don't know. You know, that's what court cases are for and whatnot. But the idea that she would have to protect herself, I mean, listen, if it was another 13-year-old that was a bit bigger than her, and she was accosting her, and she was like messing with her, she would have to protect herself all the same. Granted, like, is the degree like different because it's a I guess we can assume, we don't know who the cameraman is, we can assume it's an adult male or at least maybe a teenage male if we're going to be fair. Granted, sure, but her protecting herself remains all the same. I don't see how we jump to this conclusion, you know, that we get to this other side of the pendulum, and that's the Schadenfreude type of response, where people are gleeful. I see males again. I haven't seen very many ladies, but I'm sure there's some. But males who are gleeful that this is the result of the migrant crisis in Europe, and allowing these invaders to come. Listen, I'm going to be quite honest with you. This is going to hurt a lot of people's feelings, but this is just the long and short. I do apologize. But humans, since time immemorial, have battled one another for land and conquest. It's just a different way of doing that. If that's how you feel, right? It's just a different way of which one group is conquesting the other. In the olden days, niggas would just run the ones, and whoever died, died. And then we would take the women, and then we'd interbreed with them. Game, set, match. Now, you have local governments or full-on federal governments allowing for these refugees to come in and assimilate to some degree. Too bad, so sad. It's more complex than that, but I mean, ultimately, my friend, you're just living through the part of the invasion. That's just your burden. I don't know what else to tell you. I really don't. Complaining about migrants, this doesn't really change the fact that it's your federal government that let them in. It is what it is. And while you are human, while you be individual, if these people are dangerous, you have to fight them. Doesn't mean that it's right. Doesn't mean that it's fair. Doesn't mean that it makes you feel good. But if these people are dangerous and they are engaging upon young ladies, those young ladies, when they don't have war grime on, standing next to them to defend them, what are they supposed to do? What is he doing? This little Shih Tzu dog that I have, he's being a goofball. I don't know what he was doing. Come here. Come here. Come here. I want to show you guys I'm not crazy. So you've got a couple of different tweets. For example, this one. Men of Great Britain, you're a bunch of fucking cowards. You should bury your heads in shame for what you've allowed to happen to your once great nation. This is your doing. This little girl should live carefree in the knowledge that men in her community will protect her. So Dr. Andrew McCam, I love Dr. Andrew McCam. He goes, our men are blamed and punished for everyone else's crimes. Then they're blamed and punished for the consequences of being blamed and punished. It's like, let's just be real for a second. you're criticizing the men of Britain because some other group of men were being shitty. You can't even be mad at the nigga who was accosting the girl. You're mad at the niggas who weren't there. I can't. I hate the internet, bro. I don't know, bro. I hate the internet, but I am its denizen. The way people come to conclusions is just so asinine. So, like, here's another one. Here's another one. Let's see if I guess I'll read all of it. I'll read all of it. She says, men aren't picking up axes because it's not their daily safety that is being threatened by rapey migrants. This is a lady, right? So it's like, okay, so women have the problem. So then, they're strong, they're independent. What do you mean? They're equal to men. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, lack of testosterone, less dense bones, less dense muscle fibers, slower than males, slower reaction time. Equal. I'm sorry. No, but listen. There's a pinch of understanding with the Schadenfreude, but there's also I have kindness and grace, which sounds like me being a dickhead, but I'm being serious, right? But let's continue to read, right? It goes, girls and young women are the ones on the front lines of this fight. Well, I mean, I was so close. Oh, I was so close. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. I was so close. They're the ones being targeted for attack. And so they are the ones who pick up weapons and take matters into their own hands, not out of bravery, but out of sheer necessity. As one who would want to not have their cheeks taken would have to do. That's what they would have to do. Yes, that's how that works, unfortunately. For better or for worse. Truth be told, I learned that lesson when I was a child. I learned that no one is going to protect me. I have to protect myself. I learned that when I was young, fam. Now, granted, my older sister, when we were really, really young, she would protect me. But as time went on and I became, a teenager, that just was gone. That just wasn't going to be the case anymore, right? So, So, girls and young women are the ones on the front lines of this fight. They're the ones being targeted for attack. And so, they are the ones who pick up weapons and take matters into their own hands. Not out of bravery, but out of necessity. Well, that's how that would work. If men felt the pull of necessity, they too might pick up weapons. And in situations where they've been personally threatened, some of them have done so, but they aren't the main targets. It seems like the boots on the ground revolution against migrant crime will be led by the ladies, who have learned the hard way that no one is coming to save them, which is the same lesson I learned when I was a child. So really, in truth, we're kind of treating women like men, and now you're complaining about it. I understand the Schadenfreude. I get it. But I do still think we have to rise above it. However, you having to protect yourself, that is the burden of being a man. Now I understand, but men have to fight other men. So that, I don't know exactly what that means, but that's what I'm going to say in response to the fact that men have to fight each other. They're fighting each other, so I don't actually know what point that I'm supposed to be making here, but men fight each other, so thing. That's how feminists respond whenever you say that. I don't really know what point they're making when they say it. And my nigga, I don't even know if they know what point they're making when they say it. But anyhow. She goes, they are already in the thick of the battle while the men are still living in fear of the state. So you think that men should be so heroic that they should become fucking Batman? They should become Batman and work as vigilantes against the state laws of the province they live. Okay. Hopefully they get bitten by a radioactive spider too. I hope, while we're at it. Hopefully they get a power ring, Hopefully someone whipped up the super soldier serum for them so they can just avoid the state punishing them. Yeah. like this is what I'm telling you. What are you doing? What are you doing? Whatever. Let's wrap this one up. When men aren't really willing to risk the wrath of the state to protect their daughters, then their daughters must carry that burden themselves because the only other option is death by migrant gang rape. Yes. Yes, that would be, yes, that's how that works. Yes, you know, you're just kind of upset that water makes things wet. I do apologize, but you need a towel, right? Again, I understand the schadenfreude, but... So let's read the response to that. So someone responds, bullshit fucking take. Men aren't picking up axes and knives and killing these fucks. Because over the past 40 years, you removed men from the family. Anytime a man did what a man had to do, the system you women built put him in prison and otherwise ruined his family and his family's lives. Not because they were defending and protecting women from like that. That's not what happened, to be fair. However, as far as like the state makes it very difficult, at least in European countries, to be a good Samaritan and protect and defend each other, yeah, there are some states, even in America, for example, New York, and like that does make that activity difficult. Like it does work in opposition to someone's goodwill or desire to protect other people. Like that is a fair criticism to have. But I'm gonna be dead ass with you. Like I don't really think a woman is ever going to be saved by a man, and then it's like, by the way, we still need to put charges on that nigga. Like I don't think that's how they operate, to be fair. And so he says, why? Because you didn't need no man. And now you blame it on men. We didn't import these animals. Your weaponized empathy did. Get the fuck out of here. Men will step forward once more. When they do, there will be immense killings. And estrogen will no longer be in power. I mean, come on, bro. Like, you're doing too damn much. It's like, look, I get it. Okay? I get it. I talk about women acting unruly for very many years, and I get it. It's very, very easy to generate bad faith and, to be quite frank, disdain for women, for the way that they treat you, for the current state of some laws that they may have voted for or didn't vote for. But we have to be rational and we have to be fair and operate with intelligence and grace and compassion. Which is to say that sure, maybe some women in some regard voted something and did whatever they did, but other women didn't. And it's entirely possible that the other women who didn't might actually want a man to defend her, right? Like, I'm going to be quite honest with you. If I was a woman, I would just, full disclosure, if I was a woman, I would just be a pick-me. I'm just not even going to hold you guys. I'm just not. I've spent my entire life as a man, right? I've been socialized as a man. I've existed as a man. I know me. I spend all day with me, right? If I was a woman, right, I would look for a nigga that was like me, and then I would just keep him around, because holy fucking shit. Like, having a defender around, like having someone that works for you and keeps you safe and wants the best for you, like, to be quite honest with you, like, it probably is a great example of like the great pretending, like the great like, you would say, manipulation of the female, that they don't grasp and recognize that overwhelmingly men do love and care about them and want to protect them, and that they spend so much time being paranoid and looking at the worst vision of men instead of like desperately clawing and trying to like reinforce the best part of men. It's like there's no part of them that ever actually is like, hey, maybe we should take all the good men and encourage this behavior and like highlight it and like maybe even like overly praise it so we can encourage more men to behave that way. This, like, it doesn't clock to them to do that. Well, it doesn't clock to very many of them to do that. Now, granted, there are some women more often than not doing it now, but some of it might be grifting. Some of it might truly be genuine, and they kind of recognize that, I don't know, having your greatest defender that's like funny and caring and kind and wants your life to be better might be a good thing to have in your life. I don't freaking know. I don't know. But God forbid, I think for them. I think I do the critical thinking for women, and, you know, God forbid I do that. You have to be fair in that, listen, especially in regards to these young ladies, they didn't ask for this, right? And they are children. And these men who, again, are not vigilantes have a life to live too. And the idea that you get to command and control these men to operate and fight in defense for people when they weren't there, God forbid they don't have their instant transmission ready to just appear at the defense of a woman, you know, is laughable. I find it distasteful on both sides that we wish to lambaste the great men of Britain as weak as we pretend that they don't have an entire state system that literally makes it so they can't have guns and literally makes it difficult for them to operate in a good Samaritan way. Like, how are we lambasting them for that? But then let's also stop in pretending that, like, men are not omnipresent. Superman isn't even omnipresent, right? So there will be times where a young lady will be on her own and she will have to experience life maybe from the bad men in Great Britain, because let's not kid ourselves, bad people find themselves in all different regards. It's not just rapey migrants. Some of them, there's some bad men in Great Britain who want to take some bucks. And women need to defend themselves from men like that. Now, don't forget Jack the Ripper. Did they even catch that nigga? I need to double check if they caught that nigga. Point is, there's lots of extremes here. And there's a world where we can understand empathy, rationality, and care, as well as accepting the current state of affairs. What does that mean? It means that those young ladies didn't ask for the world that they live in. And it is unfortunate that they have to engage in combat, or at least have some type of bravado in order to try to disengage some bad man from doing something to them. It is a sad state of affairs. But the reality is, even if it wasn't a migrant doing it, bad people exist in the world, and you have to be ready and willing to protect yourself. But there's also something to be said about creating a culture or a world that is constantly against men being righteous, good people, and then browbeating them for not being righteous, good people. You lambast and destroy the foundation of one of the greatest religions ever, Christianity, that would encourage the very behavior you're asking for, men who are loving, kind, caring people, and then you're surprised when they don't operate like this. Like, what are you doing? You've destroyed every different piece of the culture and society that prompts up men to behave like this. You tore down, and then you're like, how come they act like this? What's going on in your brain? Like, is your brain made out of cheese? Is your brain made out of chicken noodle soup? Like, what are your neurons firing? Fucking oil and gasoline? Alrighty, in conclusion, is it sad that these young ladies had to find themselves in such a harrowing situation? Certainly. However, using them as political talking points to advance however you feel about the current state of the world does dick and all to change or help anyone. Whether you're in the camp that men aren't strong and aren't protecting these young women, or you're in the camp that it's a tragedy that young women have to pick up weapons and protect themselves. The anti-feminist in me does at the proposition that there are women complaining about having to protect themselves, but I digress. The truth of the matter is, fam, that honestly, you can't nag at men to come back into being heroic people. I do find it laughable that nobody ever wants to take a moment to think for all of 2 fucking minutes what you're asking men to do. You're asking people to go out of their way to protect and defend strangers they don't know against men they don't even know the capacity. They don't have a scouter to read another person's power level, and to go put your life on the line to face off against another person. I don't think you understand what you're asking for. I don't think it clocks to you that you're asking someone to go get hurt on my behalf, but I can't be bothered to protect myself. I'm just telling you, you're not going to get men to be great paladins and defenders again by being an arrogant twat about it and lambasting them and putting them down and shaming them. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I think feminists did one thing right, and that is that they told men to go to therapy, and that they told men to get in touch with their emotions. And young men did just that. And they got in touch with their self-preservation. And they recognized that, hey man, it's some old bullshit to tell me to go fight the state itself against some random man I don't know to defend a random lady I don't know, only for me to get in trouble, only for me to deal with the consequences. An entire social system was created that lambasts these men for doing the things that they do. And that might be the case in Great Britain. That might be the case in multiple states here in America as well. But you're not going to advance anything if your intentions are to lambaste these men back into doing anything. On that same token, fam, women are not a team. Women are not a hive mind. Women don't all ask for and desire the same thing. It's entirely possible that there are very many women who don't want to be accosted by strange random men and do indeed appreciate their Godzilla fighting an evil Ghidorah. That they absolutely love and appreciate their guardian, their War Greymon, battling against Piedmon. Like maybe they like their War Greymon, you know, shooting the ones against Beelzemon. You know what I'm saying? That every woman is not someone who voted for the migrant crisis that's occurring, and some of them are just children, as we saw here. The Schadenfreude of being gleeful, or if not spiteful, at the very least, that some women have to face danger, just reflects your own black heart. The truth of the matter is, fam, it's not a man versus woman thing. It's not a blame game thing. And we can do this all day and all night and say it's men's fault and it's women's fault. But I'm just going to sit here and say, my ninja, it looks like it's everyone's fault. And if you guys want the world to be a better place, then everyone has to make the choice to be better people. Because otherwise, you're just going to keep getting more of the same. Because I guarantee you, positive to negative, being upset with women for voting for something that some of them didn't vote for will never endear them to your dumbass patriarchy. And lambasting men and telling them that they're weak cowards is not going to convince them to give up their life for a random stranger that doesn't give a damn about them. Neither side is ever going to convince the other. So you guys need to get your collective shit together and recognize that it's everyone's fault and everyone needs to be a part of the solution. So that being said, I just hope you guys got something out of today's video. And if you did, I don't know, man, go and click the like button. Shoot, go and click the subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below. And as always, you guys have yourselves a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.